والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم عليه. All praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator and controller of this entire universe. May the choicest blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon our Nabi, Nabiullah, Habibullah, Sarkar Medina, Ruh Hasina, Nabi Kareem, Rauf al-Rahim, Rahmatan lil Alameen, Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Khatam al-Nabiyyin, Imam al-Anbiya, Ahmad Mujtaba, Muhammad Arbi, Muhammadur Rasulullah, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wa sallim. My brothers and elders, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You know, when the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is mentioned, two angels descend at that place. Subhanallah. And they await for the person to respond in Durood al-Salam, or that gathering they await. And for those who respond, those angels return that message to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for those who don't respond in Durood al-Salam, upon hearing the name of Rasulullah, those angels return with that message also to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. When Allah is informed, Ya Rasul, that we were in the company of this person, so and so, and the name of Rasulullah was mentioned, but this person did not recite Durood al-Salam upon Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La'natullah alayk, may my curse be upon this person. May my curse be upon this person. This is the severity in not saying or responding in Durood when hearing the name of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the angels say, for the person who did respond in Durood, they say, oh Allah, this person responded in Durood al-Salam when he heard the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And upon hearing this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Rahmatullah alayhi. May my rahmat be on this person. So if you wish to be the recipients of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever you hear the name of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And you know, this will only increase your own darajat, inshallah. You know the hadith available in this respect. Today, I wanted to talk about an issue which was close to my heart, and I felt it was very important, whilst considering the situation of the Ummah and the position of the Ummah in this day and age. And it's very surprising to think that, the Muslims, we represent some nearly 2 billion people on the globe. The Muslim community, nearly 2 billion of us, are Muslims, and there's 6 billion in the world. So, which means spread across 66 countries, the Muslims are a quarter of humanity. You know, not only the fastest growing religion, which they used to say when I was a child, now the largest religion in the world. And alhamdulillah ta'ala, you know, considering the fact that we're no short in numbers, we should be a formidable force. We should be a very powerful community. People should be afraid to, you know, level any kind of disrespect against us, our religion, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because we're almost 2 billion, and you know we represent a quarter of humanity. This is a huge statement. I mean, seldom do people think about these things in this day and age, but really and truly, we are a very, very formidable force. But unfortunately, if we look at the reality, whilst the stats and the papers say that we're a formidable, or should be a formidable force, whilst the stats say that, unfortunately we realize that in this day and age, unfortunately, the Muslim Ummah isn't as formidable as it should be, or as we would imagine it to be. And now we've seen, and according to the ulama, you know, for 200-300 years now, the Ummah has been on the decline. And, you know, the successes which we once attained and achieved, we seem to be regressing, and we seem to be going backwards. There was a time when the Muslim Ummah were at the height of their achievement. Science, technology, all sciences and distinctions, the Muslims were ahead of their times. You know, the first university in the world, Muslims, Al-Azhar University. You know, the first pharmacy in the world, many medicines related to the eye and optometry. These were, discoveries and, successes of the Muslims. You know, whilst the non-Muslims were still trading in goods, the Muslims had already established paper currency. You know, from the benefit system to, street lamps, all these things, they were established by the Muslims. Or whilst the non-Muslims were slaughtering their food and ensuring that they consumed it by nightfall, because by tomorrow the food would have gone off which they cooked. The Muslims were preserving their food by using refrigeration. We had our foods. This is how advanced the Muslims were. There was a time where Muslims were at the height of everything that they did. Alhamdulillah. And these are great lessons for us to think about, that whilst the Muslimin were close to the Quran, they were close to Islam, they were at their height in success in these things. So, why is it that, and it's a question that many ask, and why is it that, the Muslim Ummah seem to be regressing from this and going away from this? Why is it that, even though we're more in number now, why are we weaker than ever? What is the reason for the decline of the Ummah of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And my Ustahd, Shaykh Abu Yusha Yasin, may Allah bless him, I heard him say a few words in this respect, and it really hit home my heart. And this is the importance of sitting with the ulama. Because, many have said that perhaps Muslims aren't, as wealthy, and perhaps they're not sort of strong with respect to wealth. And that's why this is the weakness, and this is the cause of the decline of the Ummah of the Prophet ﷺ. But this isn't true, and this isn't right. Why? Because if we look at the statistics, Muslims now are very, very strong. They're very, very strong. We have land, we have agriculture, we have oil mines and reserves, we have, centuries of gold and silver and wealth and power and energy. Across the globe, Muslims are very, very wealthy. And I understand there's a survey which was taking place, Forbes list of the world's richest Muslims, the 10 most richest Muslims. And according to Forbes, if the 10 most richest Muslims paid zakah, 2.5% of their wealth every year, world poverty would be extinguished. World poverty would be finished if they paid 2.5% of their wealth. Why that doesn't happen, this is a mystery another time perhaps. But Muslims are very, very strong in this respect. Muslims are very, very wealthy. So what is it that we're lacking? What is it that's causing our decline over the last 200 to 300 years, if not more?